Have you ever walked past a fruit stand and felt a twinge of longing? Wondering if something as sweet and juicy as a ripe pear or a bowl of cherries could still belong in your life now that you're watching your blood sugar? Maybe you've heard it for years. Too much sugar is dangerous. Better safe than sorry. But what if that long-held belief wasn't entirely right? What if, instead of being a threat, certain sweet fruits could actually help your body stabilize its glucose levels, reduce inflammation, and even boost your energy in ways you didn't expect? For older adults navigating the challenges of blood sugar management, it's time to revisit the role of fruit in your diet, not with fear, but with fresh understanding. This isn't about ignoring science or indulging recklessly. It's about choosing nature's sweet gifts wisely and discovering how certain fruits, yes, even sweet ones, can support your health, not sabotage it. In today's video, you're going to discover 5 sweet fruits that most people overlook. Fruits that are not only delicious but are scientifically shown to work with your body to improve how it handles sugar, how it fights fatigue, and how it recovers from daily stress. And I'll go further than that. I'll walk you through how to eat them, when to eat them, and what small shifts can make a powerful difference in how you feel by the end of this week. Let's begin with a fruit that may surprise you, not for its rarity, but for how misunderstood it's been over the years. It's the peach. Soft, fragrant, and bursting with juice, the peach has often been painted as too sugary, especially for those in their 60s and beyond trying to manage their blood sugar. But under its sweet skin lies a secret that's changing how many people view this classic fruit. Peaches are rich in polyphenols, plant compounds that actually help your body use insulin more effectively. That means your cells are better at taking sugar out of your bloodstream and using it for energy, rather than letting it linger and cause problems. For older adults, especially those noticing shifts in their metabolism or who feel tired after meals, this can be a game changer. But it's not just about blood sugar. Peaches also contain moderate amounts of soluble fiber, which slows down digestion just enough to prevent glucose spikes. This means that when you enjoy a fresh peach in the middle of the day, ideally with a small handful of seeds or a spoon of plain yogurt, you're getting not just flavor, but function. The fruit supports your body instead of stressing it. And then there's the emotional part. Peaches remind many people of summer afternoons, of moments in the kitchen with loved ones long gone, or even of simple joys like picnics or fresh cobbler cooling on the windowsill. That nostalgia isn't something to dismiss. It matters. Because food is never just fuel. It's memory, emotion, tradition. And when you can reconnect with those joyful moments without guilt, something powerful happens. Eating becomes a source of comfort again, not confusion. So, the next time you see a ripe peach at the market, don't hesitate. Take it home, slice it slow, pair it with something that supports your blood sugar, and savor the moment. Because in that one act, you're telling your body and your heart the same thing. I deserve pleasure and health, and I don't have to choose between them anymore. Now, if you thought peaches were a surprise, wait until you hear what the next fruit can do. It's often seen as nothing more than decoration in a dessert or a topping for cereal. But its real value? It lies in what it does beneath the surface, especially for digestion, immunity, and even joint support. Let's turn our attention to the kiwi, a small fruit with fuzzy skin and vibrant green flesh that often gets overlooked. But kiwi is a powerhouse hiding in plain sight. It's hard to believe that something as small and simple-looking as a kiwi could have such an impact on your health, especially when you're dealing with the daily balancing act of blood sugar and energy. Most people overlook kiwis entirely, thinking of them as exotic or even unnecessary. But beneath that fuzzy skin is a dense network of nutrients perfectly aligned with the needs of aging bodies, especially those navigating type 2 diabetes or prediabetes in their later years. Kiwi is packed with vitamin C, far more than an orange in fact, which plays a vital role in supporting your immune system, reducing inflammation, and speeding up cellular repair. But that's just the beginning. What really makes kiwi special is its unique enzyme called actinidin, which helps break down proteins in the digestive system. For older adults who struggle with bloating, sluggish digestion, or irregularity, this natural compound can make eating feel easier again. Less heavy, less uncomfortable, more harmonious. Even more impressive, kiwis contain both soluble and insoluble fiber, a combination that slows the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream while also helping waste move efficiently through the gut. This dual-action fiber is exactly what many seniors are missing in their diets, and the gentle support kiwi offers can make a world of difference, not just physically, but emotionally too. Because how we digest food doesn't just affect our body, it affects how we feel. Imagine enjoying a light breakfast with slices of kiwi, a boiled egg, and a few sunflower seeds, and noticing that, instead of the usual mid-morning crash, you feel steady, focused, even energized. That stability isn't magic. It's just biology working with what nature gave us. And then there's the ritual of it. Peeling the kiwi, slicing it open, seeing that vibrant green flesh, those tiny black seeds like stars in a little galaxy. It's beautiful. And beauty matters. In a world where food often comes in beige boxes and plastic trays, reconnecting with the color and life of real food can awaken something in us. A sense of presence. A small joy. Kiwi may not carry the emotional nostalgia of an apple or peach, but it brings something equally powerful. Curiosity. It invites you to explore, to try something different, to feel young in spirit, if not in age. And that's a kind of nourishment we don't talk about enough. The nourishment of wonder, of variety, of saying yes to something new even in a life already filled with decades of habits. So if you've been feeling stuck in your routine, if your meals have lost their excitement, consider adding kiwi to your rotation, not just for the health benefits, but for what it represents, a gentle push toward growth, and growth doesn't stop with age. In fact, in many ways, that's when it begins again. Now, let's move on to a fruit that feels like an old friend, one that's often present in breakfast bowls or lunchboxes, but whose power is rarely fully appreciated. It's soft, sweet, and deeply nourishing. Yes, we're talking about pears. Pears have a quiet elegance. They don't demand attention, but they give so much in return. For one, they're loaded with sorbitol, a naturally occurring sugar alcohol that acts as a gentle laxative, making them excellent for seniors experiencing occasional constipation without resorting to medication. They're also high in water content, which supports hydration, a critical need as we age, and our thirst signals become less reliable. But perhaps most important is their rich supply of soluble fiber. Just one medium pear provides about 6 grams of fiber, which is enough to make a real impact on blood sugar control. That fiber slows down digestion, creating a more gradual release of glucose and reducing the post-meal spikes that leave you tired, foggy, or irritable. It also feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut, strengthening your microbiome, an area of health that's gaining more attention for its impact on mood, immunity, and even cognitive function. Pears don't just work well with your body, they feel like kindness in food form. Their soft texture is easy to chew, their flavor is mellow and familiar, and they blend beautifully with nuts, cheeses, or even leafy greens. A sliced pear with a small wedge of aged cheese becomes a snack that delights your senses and stabilizes your blood sugar at the same time. And let's not forget the emotional impact of small rituals. Peeling a pear and sitting down to enjoy it slowly, without distraction, is an act of self-care. Not rushed, not mechanical, but intentional. And in that moment, you're sending a clear message to your body and mind. You're worth the time. You're worth the care. Before we move on to the next fruit, let's pause here for a moment. If this video has already sparked new thoughts for you, maybe it reminded you of a fruit you used to love but stopped eating, or made you feel excited about trying something new, drop a emoji in the comments. Tell us, what fruit do you feel most curious about reintroducing into your diet? And hey, if this kind of thoughtful, gentle health advice feels right for you, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell. We create these videos especially with you in mind. This space is built for people who believe aging doesn't mean stopping. It means evolving. Ready for the next one? We're about to uncover a fruit that many people assume is off limits, especially if they're watching carbs. But when eaten smartly, it can support your heart, steady your glucose, and even boost your brain. I'm talking about the humble yet mighty plum. Let's talk about a fruit that rarely takes center stage, but when given the chance, proves itself to be a quiet champion of health, especially for those in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. The plum, with its rich color, smooth skin, and tart sweet flavor, might seem too sugary at first glance. But the truth is, this humble fruit has far more to offer than it gets credit for. Plums are rich in compounds known as phenolic acids, natural antioxidants that have been shown to reduce blood sugar spikes by slowing down carbohydrate absorption. That means when you bite into a plum, you're not just enjoying a burst of flavor, you're giving your body a small dose of protection. These compounds also help reduce chronic inflammation, which is often a silent driver behind fatigue, brain fog, and joint pain in aging adults. Even better, plums are high in sorbitol and insoluble fiber, making them an excellent natural support for digestion. If you've ever dealt with that sluggish, heavy feeling after meals, or have struggled with constipation, you know how impactful a little digestive help can be. A small plum before a walk or in the early afternoon can gently stimulate your system without the harsh effects of over-the-counter aids. What's beautiful about plums is their emotional association as well. For some, they're a reminder of harvest festivals, family orchards, or that one neighbor who used to hand out homemade plum jam in reused glass jars. For others, they're tied to memories of school lunches or summer days when a cold plum, sliced and salted, was the ultimate snack. That connection matters, because when you nourish your body with foods that also comfort your soul, healing becomes holistic. You can enjoy plums fresh, baked, or even grilled alongside vegetables or lean meats for a savory sweet combination. And don't forget, even when dried, as prunes, they retain many of their benefits. Just remember that the water content is gone, and the sugar concentration increases, so moderation becomes key. Let the plum remind you that sweetness doesn't have to be feared. It just has to be respected. Now, from one underestimated fruit to another, let's move to something many of us grew up with, yet probably haven't fully appreciated until now: the blueberry. Tiny, dark, and often tossed on top of yogurt without a second thought, this little berry holds secrets far beyond its size. Blueberries are often referred to as a brain berry, and for good reason. They're packed with flavonoids, which have been shown to support cognitive health, delay memory decline, and protect against age-related brain changes. For seniors navigating the fog of forgetfulness, or simply hoping to stay sharp and mentally agile, a handful of blueberries a day could be a surprisingly powerful ally. But the benefits don't stop at the brain. Blueberries are low in natural sugar, but incredibly rich in anthocyanins, the pigment that gives them their deep blue hue. These anthocyanins improve insulin sensitivity, reduce oxidative stress, and even promote heart health by improving circulation and lowering blood pressure. That's a lot of value packed into a berry the size of a fingernail. One common worry among older adults is that fruit, especially sweet-tasting ones, will cause unpredictable blood sugar swings. But blueberries behave differently. Their high antioxidant and fiber content mean they absorb slowly, offering a more balanced energy release rather than a spike. When paired with a small portion of nuts or plain Greek yogurt, they become a snack that feels indulgent, satisfying, and safe. Emotionally, blueberries are often tied to peaceful, positive memories. Maybe it's picking them during childhood trips to the countryside, or the scent of blueberry muffins filling a grandparent's kitchen. Maybe it's that frozen bag in your freezer, waiting patiently to be turned into something meaningful on a quiet morning. That familiarity has emotional weight, and emotional nourishment is just as valid as physical. Try mixing blueberries into a morning bowl of oats with chia seeds, or blending them into a small smoothie with almond milk and cinnamon. Better yet, just eat them by the handful while sitting outside. No rush, no rules. Just the taste of something small that reminds you big things are still possible. And as we wrap up this section, here's a quiet truth. Every time you choose a fruit that supports your health, you're not just managing a condition. You're reclaiming your relationship with food. You're refusing the idea that age limits your options, and you're choosing knowledge, balance, and joy instead. There's a moment, often in the quiet of the day, when you crave something, not just to eat, but something comforting, something that grounds you. For many people in their later years, that moment is filled with hesitation. Can I eat this? Will this affect my numbers? That constant second-guessing turns even the simplest joys into a source of stress. But what if that pause could become peace? What if instead of asking, "Can I eat this?" you started asking, "How can I eat this in a way that supports me?" Let's meet a fruit that helps answer that question with grace. The fig. Often seen as an ancient fruit, symbolic of wisdom and longevity, the fig carries a richness, not only in taste but in texture, tradition, and nourishment. Figs are naturally sweet, but that sweetness is accompanied by soluble fiber, which slows the digestion of sugars and gives your body time to process them in a gentler rhythm. That's essential for those who find themselves spiking after snacks or meals. Unlike highly processed sweets, figs offer a whole food experience. Nothing artificial, nothing extracted, just a blend of sugar and fiber, working in harmony. But there's more. Figs are loaded with calcium, magnesium, and potassium, minerals that play a crucial role in bone density and blood pressure regulation, two major concerns for people in their 60s and beyond. With age, muscle cramps, dizziness, and brittle bones become more common, often due to deficiencies that slowly creep in without much warning. A few fresh figs a week can quietly contribute to strengthening your body from within. And don't overlook the emotional value. Figs often bring up memories of simpler times, of sharing snacks beneath a shady tree, or perhaps of watching a grandparent slice one open with the reverence of someone who knew the value of food. It's that kind of slowness, of ceremony, that many of us have lost in our rush to eat fast and move on. Bringing back that mindful, sacred experience of eating, even in something as small as a fig, can have ripple effects in how you feel throughout the day. How to enjoy them? Pair fresh figs with a little ricotta cheese or chopped walnuts for a snack that feels gourmet but is deeply balancing. Or dice them into a salad with arugula, olive oil, and a touch of lemon. And if you do choose dried figs, keep the portions mindful. 2 pieces paired with protein is enough to satisfy without overwhelming your glucose. Now, let's shift to another fruit that has quietly supported people for generations, especially in moments of fatigue or lack of focus. Often associated with breakfast or paired with other fruits in a medley, the cantaloupe is one of the most hydrating and refreshing options you can bring into your routine. Cantaloupe, with its pale orange flesh and softly sweet aroma, is about more than flavor. It's about hydration, something too often overlooked in conversations about senior health. As we age, our bodies become less effective at signaling thirst, and dehydration sneaks in quickly, leading to dizziness, confusion, fatigue, and even blood sugar instability. Cantaloupe is over 90% water, making it a gentle yet powerful way to replenish your system. But it doesn't stop there. Cantaloupe is also a source of beta-carotene, which your body converts into vitamin A, essential for preserving eyesight, maintaining healthy skin, and supporting immune function. For older adults facing declining vision or slower skin regeneration, that's a quiet but crucial benefit. The natural sugars in cantaloupe are modest and balanced by a fair amount of fiber. When eaten fresh and in the right portion, say a small cup with a sprinkle of chia seeds or paired with cottage cheese, it offers a refreshing, low glycemic snack that supports rather than sabotages. There's also something inherently uplifting about cantaloupe. Its color, its juiciness, its scent, they bring lightness. Maybe it reminds you of picnics, of family breakfasts in the summertime, or those fruit salads you used to help prepare for Sunday gatherings. In those moments, food was about community, not control, about nourishment, not numbers. And that's what we're returning to in this journey. We're not here to shame or restrict. We're here to reclaim, to honor the wisdom of your body and the role food plays in how you feel. Not just today, but every day you choose to care for yourself in small, meaningful ways. So whether it's a slice of cantaloupe after a walk or a fig savored with afternoon tea, you're not just eating. You're building a new relationship with your body, your memories, and the sweetness of life that you still deserve to taste. There's a special kind of silence that settles in the late afternoon. When the house is calm, the light begins to soften, and your body whispers that it's time for a little something, not a full meal, not a heavy treat, just something comforting. It's in those moments that the right fruit can feel like a gift, a bridge between hunger and peace, between fatigue and focus. One such gift comes in the form of the apricot, a small golden orange fruit often forgotten, but never failing to surprise when given the spotlight. Apricots are soft, fragrant, and delicately sweet, with a flavor that feels like sunlight on the tongue. But behind that simple joy is a fruit deeply aligned with the needs of older adults. Fresh apricots are rich in vitamin A, iron, and potassium, three nutrients that quietly decline with age, yet play powerful roles in maintaining vision, blood flow, and muscular strength. For someone who experiences lightheadedness, dry eyes, or cramping after long walks or nights of poor sleep, the presence of these nutrients can mean the difference between another tired day and a steady one. And then there's the soluble fiber, just enough to slow digestion, to ease your stomach, and to buffer the absorption of natural sugars. A few slices of fresh apricot alongside a spoonful of almond butter can keep your blood sugar balanced without leaving you craving something more. But the apricot offers more than nutrients. It offers a mood, a reminder, of childhood, of family gardens, of the preserves that used to sit on pantry shelves, waiting for special occasions. When you eat an apricot slowly, without distraction, something inside you softens. The pressure to count, to restrict, to control, it lifts, and you're left simply enjoying, living, and that, too, is part of healing. Try slicing apricots into your morning bowl of oats or yogurt, or enjoy one with a cube of cheese in the late afternoon. Even dried apricots, when eaten with nuts or plain seeds, can serve as a fiber-rich snack. Just be mindful of quantity and always read the label to avoid hidden sugars. Now let's turn to a fruit that might make you pause for a moment. Not because it's new, but because it's been mislabeled as off-limits for far too long. Bananas. Yes, bananas. The fruit you probably grew up eating with toast or cereal. The one you may have offered to your children when they needed something quick and satisfying. At some point, the message began to change. People started saying they were too starchy or too high in sugar for people with diabetes. But the truth, as always, is more nuanced. A medium, slightly green banana, not overly ripe, contains resistant starch, a type of carbohydrate that your body digests more slowly. That slower process not only helps control blood sugar levels, but also feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut, supporting your digestive and immune systems at the same time. Bananas also contain vitamin B6 and magnesium, which are key for nerve function and mood stability. And that matters, because many older adults experience mild anxiety or low moods, not as a result of circumstance, but of nutritional shifts within the body. A banana, paired with a protein source like peanut butter or a few roasted seeds, can become more than a snack. It becomes emotional support in edible form. Now here's the emotional twist we promised. Maybe you once associated bananas with comfort food, something safe, predictable, easy to grab when life felt too full. And then, one day, someone told you they were bad, that they were the wrong choice. And just like that, comfort became confusion. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Relearning what nourishes you is part of reclaiming your power. It's not about rebelling or following every trend. It's about coming home to yourself, to your needs, to what actually works for your body. So if you've missed bananas, if you've looked at them on your counter and felt conflicted, this is your invitation to bring them back. Not recklessly, but consciously. Maybe you eat half, maybe you slice it and share it with someone you love. However you choose, let it be your choice, not one driven by fear, but by informed confidence. Because at the end of the day, food should make you feel steady, not scared. There are days when food feels like a list of rules. Don't eat this. Avoid that. Too much sugar, not enough fiber. It can turn mealtimes into math equations and turn snacks into stress. But what if food could be simple again? What if instead of fear, you felt calm? Confident that what's on your plate is not just allowed but beneficial. That brings us to a fruit that's often misunderstood and rarely celebrated for its healing potential, the pomegranate. You may know it as the fruit filled with tiny red jewels, delicate seeds called arils that burst with tart sweet juice. But behind its vibrant appearance lies something remarkable, especially for older adults navigating the delicate balance of blood sugar, energy, and inflammation. Pomegranates are rich in punicolagens, powerful antioxidants that fight oxidative stress, one of the silent culprits behind aging, joint pain, and metabolic decline. These compounds also support insulin sensitivity, helping your body handle sugar more effectively without as many spikes and crashes. Even more compelling is how pomegranates protect the cardiovascular system. For seniors who are managing high blood pressure or cholesterol alongside blood sugar concerns, pomegranate juice, in small, unsweetened quantities, or the seeds themselves can help relax blood vessels, improve circulation, and support overall heart function. But beyond the science, there's something meditative about eating a pomegranate. The act of opening it, of slowly extracting the seeds, of eating them one by one, it slows you down, it anchors you in the moment. And sometimes, that's the medicine we need most. Not just nutrients, but presence. Not just results, but ritual. Try sprinkling pomegranate seeds over a mixed green salad with olive oil and toasted seeds, or mix them into a bowl of plain yogurt. Even a few spoonfuls on their own, eaten mindfully, can bring joy back to your daily choices. Now, from the complexity of the pomegranate to something seemingly ordinary, but no less powerful, let's talk about the tangerine. Often overshadowed by its larger cousin, the orange, the tangerine is easy to peel, perfectly portioned, and just sweet enough to satisfy without pushing your blood sugar out of range. Its high fiber content, especially in the white pith between segments, slows the sugar release and supports smoother digestion. But what makes tangerines stand out is their content of nobiletin, a compound currently being studied for its ability to regulate fat metabolism and improve insulin function. That's a big deal for seniors who feel like their metabolism has slowed down, or who have stubborn belly weight they can't explain. Tangerines are also a wonderful source of hydration, vitamin C, and flavonoids that support immune health and circulation. And because they're easy to pack, peel, and eat, they make a perfect snack for those days when you're running errands or heading to a doctor's appointment. But here's something many people overlook: the emotional simplicity of a tangerine. There's something grounding in the way your fingers sink into the peel, how the scent lifts into the air, how each segment pulls apart with ease. It reminds you that nourishment doesn't have to be complicated. That health can be found in the simplest of rituals, and maybe that's a theme worth holding on to, not just in your diet, but in your life. That small, consistent actions, done with love and intention, can bring peace, healing, and strength in ways no fad or formula ever could. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, that tells me something. You care deeply about how you live, and about doing it with grace, joy, and knowledge. So here's a question for you. In the comments, share which fruit from today's list brought back a memory for you. Was it a tangerine from childhood? A pomegranate from your grandmother's kitchen? Let's fill the comments with stories, not just reactions, because your story might be the one that inspires someone else. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good moment. Not because we're asking, but because you deserve a space where your age is honored, your body is understood, and your journey is respected. Hit that subscribe button and join us for more content designed with your well-being at heart. And now, as we move forward, we'll begin to reflect on what truly matters, not just which fruits to eat, but how to eat them. In the next section, we'll talk about fruits that may be working against your goals, even if they seem innocent on the surface. And most importantly, we'll talk about balance. As we grow wiser with age, we also grow more aware, not just of what we need, but of what no longer serves us. That's true in life, in relationships, and certainly in food. While many fruits nourish, support, and uplift us, others, despite their natural origin, can quietly work against our goals if we're not paying attention. Let's begin by talking about a category that often hides behind healthy branding: fruit juices. Even those labeled as 100% natural or no added sugar can be problematic. Why? Because juice strips away the fiber, the very component that slows down sugar absorption and helps keep blood sugar levels stable. What's left is a highly concentrated source of fructose, which hits your bloodstream rapidly, like a soft drink in disguise. That morning glass of fresh squeezed orange juice might feel refreshing, but it behaves more like a dessert than a fruit. For older adults trying to manage diabetes, fatigue, or inflammation, this kind of sugar surge can lead to more than just energy crashes. It can increase joint stiffness, mental fog, and even contribute to long-term insulin resistance. Next, let's talk about dried fruits. Yes, they're convenient. Yes, they're small. But don't let size fool you. When fruit is dried, its water content vanishes, and the sugar becomes dense. A small handful of raisins, dried pineapple, or even dried apricots can contain as much sugar as 2 or 3 servings of fresh fruit, without the water or fiber to slow it down. This isn't about banning these foods forever. It's about understanding context. If you're going to enjoy dried fruit, pair it with protein or fat, like almonds or plain yogurt, to soften the impact, and keep portions modest. For example, 2 dried dates alongside a few walnuts can be a satisfying blood sugar-friendly snack, but a palmful of dried mango eaten on an empty stomach? That's a recipe for a sugar spike. Now let's touch on something more surprising: overripe fruits. Think of a banana that's gone soft and brown, or a melon that's become almost syrupy. As fruits ripen, their natural starches break down into simpler sugars. That makes them taste sweeter, but also makes them faster to digest, which means glucose enters your bloodstream more quickly. That charmingly spotty banana might be nostalgic, but a slightly green one is a better choice for balance. The same goes for overly sweet tropical fruits like pineapple and watermelon. In small portions, and especially when paired with fiber or protein, they can absolutely be part of a mindful diet. But large servings, particularly on an empty stomach, can cause rapid blood sugar shifts, leaving you drained or irritable shortly after. You may be wondering, so what's left? Do I have to measure everything I eat now? Absolutely not. This isn't about fear. It's about empowerment. Once you understand how your body responds to different kinds of fruit, you begin to see them not as temptations to resist, but as tools to choose from. Tools that can either stabilize or destabilize, energize or exhaust. What matters most is how you eat, not just what you eat. Timing, pairings, and portion size all shape your body's response. And the beautiful part? You're in control. You can enjoy fruit in a way that supports your body instead of battling it. Think of food like conversation. Some fruits speak gently to your system in a language of nourishment and care. Others shout. You get to choose who you invite in and when. Let's also acknowledge that avoiding certain fruits doesn't make you good or disciplined, and eating them doesn't make you bad. It simply means you're paying attention to how your body feels and acting accordingly. That is wisdom, and wisdom doesn't restrict, it frees. So the next time you're at the store or opening your fridge, remember this: you're not on a diet. You're creating a relationship, one that evolves with you, one that honors your history, your preferences, and your unique rhythm, because what works for someone else may not work for you, and what used to work for you may not work anymore. That's not failure, it's growth. And as we prepare to close this journey in our next and final chapter, let's carry forward this message. Fruit is not the enemy, but neither is it automatically your ally. It's all about how you choose, when you choose, and what you pair with it. Somewhere along the way, many of us started seeing food as a problem to solve instead of a relationship to nurture. Especially as we age and face new challenges, it's easy to fall into patterns of restriction, avoidance, and guilt. We look at a bowl of fruit and wonder, is this safe? Rather than asking, is this what my body and spirit need today? But maybe it's time for that to change. Maybe it's time to approach health not as a list of no's, but as an invitation to rediscover what truly supports you. A ripe peach enjoyed slowly, a handful of blueberries with your morning tea, a cool slice of melon on a summer afternoon. These aren't just foods, they're moments. They're reminders that well-being doesn't have to be joyless. Because when we nourish ourselves with intention, when we choose foods that not only balance our blood sugar but bring back a sense of pleasure and calm, we're doing more than feeding our bodies. We're healing our relationship with life itself. You see, health is not just about what shows up in lab results. It's about how you feel when you wake up. It's about whether your joints ache when you move, whether your mind is clear or cloudy. Whether you feel like yourself or like someone just trying to keep up. And every small choice, every mindful bite, can help you come back home to that steadiness, that you that sometimes gets lost in all the noise of diets, trends, and advice. Let's make something clear. You are not too old, too late, or too far behind to feel better. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are evolving. And like any evolution, it requires compassion, experimentation, and patience. That's why this journey with fruit, so simple on the surface, is actually about something much deeper. It's about trusting yourself again, trusting that your body still knows how to thrive, trusting that joy and health can live in the same bowl. So the next time you feel unsure, pause, breathe, ask, what would nourish me today? Maybe it's a fig, maybe it's a pear, maybe it's sharing a story in the comments with someone who's walking this path too. Because that's something else we often forget as we get older. We're not alone. There are others just like you, trying to eat well, live well, and feel better. And when we share what's working, what's meaningful, or even what's hard, we give each other permission to keep going, to try again, to find hope in the smallest of things, like a fruit once avoided, now embraced. So here's your invitation. Tell us in the comments below, what fruit are you reclaiming in your life? Is there one you've been avoiding, but now feel ready to try again? Or maybe there's one that brings back a memory, a story, a feeling worth revisiting. We'd love to hear from you. Your experience could be the encouragement someone else needs today. And if you found something valuable in this video, whether it was a new tip, a fresh perspective, or just the feeling that someone finally understands what you're going through, consider joining this community by subscribing. Not because we want bigger numbers, but because we believe that everyone deserves a space where health advice is thoughtful, respectful, and made just for them. Tap that subscribe button and let this be the first of many moments where you choose nourishment, not punishment. Clarity, not confusion. Joy, not fear. Because your story is still unfolding. Your next chapter doesn't have to be about giving things up. It can be about bringing things back. Back into your kitchen, back into your routine, back into your heart. Here's to your health. Here's to your joy. And here's to fruit that fuels every part of who you are.